Hi, so we are here doing Being in 2020 and having conversations with friends and building connection. We're using the list from this Being in 2020 journal for our conversation. So to join me, I called two very good friends, Jessica. And Jessica, well, now you can show yourself, join the video, Jessica. Hi, Jessica. And Caroline. Yay! And Jessica and Caroline, they're both great friends from one of my favorite places in the world, Asheville. So how are you guys?
I'm doing great. So awesome to be here. I'm excited about this process and love being with two of my favorite people.
I love that you guys are here. Are you ready to be together?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. So before this, we chose a list that we're going to work together. And it is living anew. New things, skills, hobbies, ideas, beliefs, relationships, or loved ones I picked up in 2020. So just take a moment and I'll give us like a few minutes to do this. Write down your answers on your paper and then we'll come back and share. If anyone's doing this at home, write your answers on your paper. Or better yet, get a Being in 2020 journal and you can write your answers in your own Being in 2020 journal. Okay, do you have any ideas that came through as you were writing this?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Who wants to go first?
I think. Go.
Okay.
Well, one thing that definitely, it's interesting because I just had a child right on the brink of 2020 on November 10th. Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't even think. November 10th, 2019. And so being a mother during this time has been very special. And it was interesting because I was already kind of gearing up to be like, what would it be like to have a at-home business, like really focus? Ooh. And 2020 really gave me the opportunity with the shutdown because I'm a very social person. And so I spent a lot of time being out and not so much focusing on things like my business. And so with that, I have focused on my business more than I have ever in my whole life. And so that's everything from reaching out to clients to being creative and doing all kinds of things to support that business. And so it really helped me build an at-home business because I couldn't go to where I was working before. And so that was a really special thing. And it's really launched a big part of my life now. So
I liked how you said that, like a 2020 gave you an opportunity. When you hear people talk about 2020, you don't hear much of the positive of it, but a 2020 to almost work on or realize an idea for your business that was starting before 2020, but it really gave you an opportunity to live it and realize.
I think I would have like put it off if I was going into work, you know. Yeah. And it really helped me not avoid something that could really benefit me.
Oh, okay.
And one thing is now I'm not late to work.
So tell us about your work. What is it that you do in your business?
My business name is called Queen Jess Lee. I'm a channel, and I channel spiritual messages for people. I contact whatever serves them in the unseen and the seen world. So whatever is there to serve, I am channeling divine messages for that person to help them on their journey, to inspire their future, but to really meet them in the present moment for what they need most right now. And so it's a great format. I get to see people all over the world and channel for them, and it's so special.
So then have you been doing that then online as well? You can meet with your clients online?
That's all I do now is I see them online and do Zoom Zoom readings, and they get a recording. And so it's kind of special. Before they would get a voice recording, but now they get to see me, and it's just really neat. So I just love it. I love it. So I'm never late to work now.
Yeah.
Because I could just sit down like a minute before.
That is nice. That is
Yeah.
nice.
So yeah, that's that.
So living anew with your new business at home.
Absolutely.
Caroline, do you have anything?
Like I had like a bunch of little things that I loved that this year helped me learn to focus my time on, like knitting and learning how to make a casserole and slowing down time and really, realizing effects of certain things and not watching TV, not looking at my phone, turning off my phone, completely creating my space for growth.
Tell me more about like why like turning off your phone. How did that come about? Because it seems like in some people like you could be like becoming more dependent on your phone, wanting to be connected, and it sounds like you like wanted like you reset that and you shut off your phone.
Yeah, I basically create a safe space, and it's more of a coping mechanism in order to kind of handle the world out there and how much stress it has now. And so when I come home, I turn my phone off and I don't look at it until I set my alarm to go to bed.
Oh, that's nice.
Awesome. And the whole, it kind of felt like with a phone, we grew another arm or something, and you always had to have that, and it kind of pulled you, and it would kind of get in your mind and be like, well, has anyone texted me yet? And that little bit of addiction that we created for ourselves to feel something, I finally realized that it wasn't actually serving me, and it was actually controlling me more than I was conscious of it. And so now I have kind of turned the whole energy of it where it's I make the calls.
Yeah.
And I say, oh, I haven't been on Facebook in a while. Let me just scroll and see how my friends are. And then that's it. 15 minutes and just like, oh, happy friends. And then that's it. And then I create my house and my world without that energy. So I don't stream anything on my TV. I only watch DVDs. I created everything that I could in my little sphere.
Yeah.
To help make me feel a lot more connected to myself.
Isn't that, I was just thinking like by disconnecting to all that, you're getting more of a connection to yourself.
Yeah.
That is nice. I feel like myself, I've gone through more like a rubber band with social media. Like I'll pull back all the way from it where like I'll do what you did to some extent. Maybe not, I'll still like stream TV stuff because I don't have a TV if I don't. So anyways, so like I'll cut everything off, but then next thing you know, it'll snap, and then I'll find there'll be like a period of time where I'm just spending way too much time on it. And what I do notice, the times that I'm spending way too much time on it, I'm feeling worse.
Yeah. You get depressed easier.
Yeah.
It's so, the posts are so extreme now that people are taking, the pendulum and just living in these sides.
Yeah.
So either it's something you're like supposed to be on board with, or you're not on board with, and then it just brings up all this like I would call it like rough waters inside of you.
Dissonance.
That you need to bring up. The whole point of being at home in that time is to take the time to get your battery charged up and to do things that really bring joy to you, and to create a really beautiful place that's uniquely you.
And that's uniquely you and serves you and is for you. That sounds like a wonderful energy at your home. I mean, I visited your home. It has a wonderful energy to it. We love it. We want to come. And yours too. I visit your home too, Jessica. I love you guys. I take my turns with both of you guys.
Well, and the thing is it's there's so much unknown right now that when you can focus on something that is known, and you can have that relationship that feeds you and start to realize what feeds you and what takes from you, and you become the observer. And then you get to kind of understand in a real authentic truth way, because you can lie to yourself and say, oh, this is good for me, when you know it's not.
Yeah.
Like, you can try to tell yourself it is, but really this year focus like made you, like, if I looked at, you know, some of my Instagram things and I felt like the world was terrible, the world's ending, and I would get so depressed. And it was like, what was the catapult? Well, the catapult was reading all these things.
Yeah.
Had I not read all these
Read
things,
your mind.
I might have, you know, thrown the ball with my dog, or had a really positive experience and not gone down that little rabbit hole. So I started to really take responsibility for my actions. So that has been something that I've learned, and I really want to keep that momentum going, because it's a form of self-care.
Yeah, and it seems like it is, and that truly goes back to like living anew. You know, you're renewing yourself and living anew. I was just trying, when you're living like that, you said where you can just observe more, you know, kind of step back from all that, be with yourself and observe more. The times that I do that, I find like I'm less reactionary, like less.
Yes.
I can go into defensiveness kind of easily. That's like an easy thing for me to slip into. And I feel like that reactionary and that defensive just like increases. But when I take the time back, it's like more even, I think, grounded. Does you guys have any of that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No,
it's interesting, like with what Caroline's saying, the one thing that shifted was definitely, I hadn't turned on my TV for like almost the majority of this whole thing. I didn't even see, like, I didn't know that there was actually people putting masks in commercials. And it was like funny, I was like, one day, I think it was probably like 7 months into it, it's like, I want to just see like one commercial with like a mask on it, like that the world had changed that way. And I like turned it on and I waited, like it was like, only took a couple commercials before I saw a mask. I was like, okay, I'm good. Like I just didn't, I totally, that bubble, like this is my creation, just like what you were saying, Caroline, is like, and to go off of that, I've been outside. I mean, that's another, living anew, being outside in nature.
Yeah.
100% more. I mean, taking walks, I've met neighbors. I never knew another neighbor in my whole neighborhood. I didn't know anybody. And because of walking with Charlie, and he's definitely eye candy. I mean, everybody wants to see a baby, right? And they're like, oh, and you're like, of course, Jim, he's like, okay, 6 feet away, you know, we're like, you know, it's funny. But because they want to get near. And I was like, but we're like, you can enjoy our baby forever. Anyway, but I got to meet neighbors and have conversations. And they're like, oh, let's see him. How big has he gotten? Like the community that happened in our community of just walking around. I never walked around before, really. I mean, I would go on a walk here and there. But my Cancerian nature is to be inside more. But now that like having to be inside, pushed me outside. So, and things I had never seen. I didn't even know the house above us was so close. I was like, oh, that house is right there. I mean, like I put that on my list, like noticing things I've never noticed before, just by, and watching the nature change, or like watch a spider drop from a tree, and to eat berries on the side of the road this summer. I mean, it was just so cool. And we have lots of bears up here, and so just to have that exhilaration of like, am I going to see a bear while I'm walking alone with my baby? Like just things
that's exhilaration, you know? Thought.
I mean, like, and I was like, well, my carriage looks like a bear, so I think I'm gonna dominate this moment. So, but like, whatever, you know, just like,
who's gonna be the bigger mama bear? You're gonna be a mama bear right there, right?
You know, and actually, I never had to do that. So, but it's just funny, like the thoughts that you have while you're walking, and for a while, Jim and I were really connecting on those walks, and they were so beautiful. And then he got a bum ankle or something, and so then it was just Charlie and I going, and I was like, oh, this is really sweet bonding time for Charlie and I. And so nature and having the TV off, I can't say that I didn't go right into the devices, but haven't had the TV on barely this whole time. So that's been really cool. So just to go off of what you said, Caroline.
It just seems like for both of you, like creating a pause in different ways, but letting, like, it seems like the whole world was creating a pause, and how you stepped into the pause and found good things out of it. I mean, I love like the opportunity, community. That's really, and connecting to yourself. I mean, what more important is there to do that other than perhaps making casseroles? What casseroles did you make, Caroline?
Well,
That sounds
the
good.
key to casserole is cream of mushroom soup. So you put anything in the casserole and the crock pot, and then you just add cream of mushroom soup, and the cream of mushroom soup just makes everything. So cream of mushroom soup, stock up so the casseroles, you have it.
Can you do any cream soup? Like I do like cream of broccoli. I'm sure that can work, yeah.
Broccoli is key in casseroles. There's something about the flavor. It just takes over and makes it really good. Cauliflower, however you say that word.
Cauliflower.
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 Gotten to learn about cauliflower. And laughing and having fun is on my list, because that to me is what life is about. Like, no matter what's going on, they can't take away your ability to laugh at it.
Yeah, no kidding. That's the best thing, seriously.
And I feel like when you laugh at something, it transmutes the energy too. So sometimes stating the obvious, or obvious to you, maybe not obvious to someone else, or realizing, this is on my list, that I don't have to agree 100% on everything in order to love someone or be their friend. And especially if you can laugh at it. So if I mean, a lot of my friends and I have totally different navigational tools for this time. And I've realized how important it is to just be like, well, the most important thing for a friend or someone I love is just to be able to laugh about how different we think about things.
Yeah.
And the ability to have people that can meet you on that level where they're not so identified with their beliefs, they're not ego completely tied, that attack on what they think is an attack on them.
Yeah.
But becoming more that observer where they're like, yeah, this is what I believe in, and this is what I believe, and we both go, we've never disagreed so much in our life, and then we laugh about it and we get a little mad here and there, but we can still be best friends.
Yes.
Like it's a lot of people have had a lot of wedges put into friendships and have lost a lot of friendships. And that's really hard. I think a lot of people aren't talking about the weight of social friendships, and the changes that have happened by the divisiveness. And if we could all learn to love each other, because every single person thinks completely different.
How did you word it when you first started? I liked how you worded it. The idea that I don't have to believe like someone else, or someone else doesn't have to believe like me.
I don't have to agree 100% on everything people believe in order to love someone or be their friend.
Yeah.
So like, we don't have to have the exact same thoughts on everything happening. And in fact, the more we have different thoughts, the more we can learn from each other.
Yeah, how boring would it be if we all thought the same thing all the time?
All the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just be like, oh yes, we're right. We're right.
We're so smart.
We're so right.
We're so right. We're not moving anywhere. We're not progressing, but we're right.
Exactly. And I'm not challenging you and you're not challenging me, because like I think something and I believe something, but then the next day I might think and believe something totally different, because if you've been on the spiritual path, you learn that you evolve, and you think something for so long, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I didn't even take this into consideration. So I think people that are open to knowing that this is what I believe today, it may be different tomorrow, aren't so holding what they believe so tight. And then when people say something different, it's not an attack on them, because I don't there's a complete difference between what I believe and who I am.
There's understanding and not judgment too. There's like understanding in you as the person and not judging you for, or being judged, going both ways. Well,
and what I think and what I believe doesn't make me who I am. Because who I am always stays the same. What I think and believe changes. Sometimes I change my mind on a daily basis of what's going on, you know? So I think if more people could separate themselves from their beliefs and who they are. Yeah. Because beliefs are kind of like a river, and they're going to change, and they're going to evolve, and they're going to, when you get more information, you may have a different belief.
I was reading a quote. Oh, I wish I knew this. I had this quote that sounds perfect for what you're saying, and I'm going to mess it. I don't know who it was. It's from some like ancient person, but how word like a river or life's like a river, something about a river. But it's really hard. But when you go in and you're never the same when you come out, because you've always like moved a little bit in the flow or something. Oh, I'll find the quote and I'll message it to you guys, because it really, when you read it, you're going to be like, oh yeah, it makes sense. But
and a lot of times, you know, the thought is just a leaf in the river, and you may believe it for that moment, and then you let it go and it goes down the river, and then a new thought comes. Yeah. And hanging on to that leaf and being like, this is my thought and I'm going to believe it for the next 30 years. You can't know that you're going to believe it for the next 30 years.
I know. It is freeing. Accepting that or understanding that's freeing too, for yourself and everyone, I think. It's just not having to grip something so hard. You can just relax a little bit.
Yeah, and say, this is what I believe today. Tomorrow may be totally different. And having friends that totally get that.
Yeah.
And they don't, nice. Well, you said this before. And I'm like, well, yeah, we're all trying to figure this out together.
Yeah, that is nice. Let me just really quick, we're going to, I think, wrap up a little bit. I'll just end up with two things. On my list, I had, what did I have? Just a new mantra, like meditation, that one of my guests from the Silver Lining Moments podcast shared this with me. With your breath, just going, I am here now. Breathe in, I out, am here now. And I have really incorporated and used that, like in times when I started feeling like, oh, I'm going to get unsettled, or if I just felt anxious, it's not mantra, that new affirmation tied in with my breath would always, it was a new one for me, and it really grounds me like that. So I guess that's something new. New relationship would be, Rob and I basically lived with his parents for 7 months. I've only met them like one other time, well, 2 other times, but for very short visits. And so now we're living together in a small townhome, all 4 of us. And so I got new relationships with my in-laws. So that was nice. And let's see. Yeah. And I think some of the other new things is just some of the new ideas I had with like some writing ideas and things like that. So cool. But it is nice. Oh, let me share so in the journal, each quote or each list has a quote that is associated with it. And the quote for this one is, now interesting, I'm sorry. So we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. And that is Aristotle. I actually like that with the juxtaposition with what you're saying, Carolyn, how we change, right? And our beliefs change. But it's a good reminder, if we repeatedly do something and we do it over and over again, it does kind of become a part of us. But we always have the chance to do something different too. Mm-hmm. Okay. So for anyone who wants to do their own Being in 2020 journal, you can get the journals on Amazon. You can look up the Being Journals Facebook page, and It was very fun having this conversation and connecting with Caroline and Jessica. Thank you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Carrie. It was great to see you all, and I wish everyone so much love and happiness and blessings, and remember to make sure you find a crystal friend to help you as well on this journey, because they're here to support us.
And I would say, Jessica and Caroline, you are two of my crystal friends. Thank you guys. That's very true.
Thank you. Love it.